Good afternoon. Holy banana bread, guys. We got a red market. We got a really, really red market. Actually, here, let me just push this. I'm going to push this in a little. There we go. Just wanted to make sure that that was aligned a little bit better. But yeah, guys, is it Liberation Day Part 2? It kind of feels a little bit like that. The market started off strongly in the red, and it has stayed in the red all day. There have been lots of opportunities to buy the dip. And believe it or not, guys, I made money today. I made money on a swing trade, if you can believe that. And we're not even talking about an inverse swing trade. Now, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about all of that stuff, all of the market stuff, all of the fear, all of the panic. Where is this going? You know, is the sky falling? Is the sky falling? No, not really. But well, we're going to cover all of that. We're going to have we got a lot to go. We got a lot to cover today. Let's start with this market. Oh boy, look at this, guys. Look at this red candle. Oh yeah, that's a big red candle. Well, technically it's a whole bunch of red candles, but a lot of red. The market absolutely down today. So the TSX today is down 1.14%. So definitely feeling the fear. Now, those of you who've been living under a rock, or maybe you just came out of a coma today, or maybe you had a no weekend look at the news. Obviously, this is all due to these tariff threats against Europe. So that's what's shaking the market. It's bringing out the volatility, and it's not great. It's not great today. The big question, of course, is definitely, is this going to continue? Oh boy, that I don't know. I think we might see some red tomorrow, but I think definitely by tomorrow afternoon, I think we're going to be heading in the right direction again. So, and we'll be here for that as well. But gosh, yeah, look at this. So the TSX down 1.14. We're doing good because we do have a couple of good sectors. Gold is certainly helping us today because you look at the U.S. and it's double. All right, let's take a look here. Oh boy, and they're for the month and the year now. They're now in the red side of that blue line. Look at that gap. See that space right in there? That just shows that's the big gap. So they got hit. The U.S. markets got hit really, really hard. So currently, year to date right now, the S&P 500 is now negative 1.16%. So they're definitely down big time. And on the day, they're down 2.03%. The NASDAQ, even a little bit worse. The NASDAQ is down 2.08%. So, oh, look at this. Look at that. There's the gap. There's that gap. Holy banana bread. So definitely a good time. If you were looking to buy, interesting. Somebody asked me the other day, should I get NT now or should I wait? I said wait. I said wait until today. And that is, I also wanted to add NT. I wanted to add NT to the 0 to 100K challenge. So I got that opportunity today. I got a nice entry price. I got a nice entry price just before the show started. So, and it may even have fallen a little bit lower since then. We'll take a look. We're going to take a look at all of this stuff here. The Dow Jones also falling, still in the green for the month, but they fell 1.71%. All right, now, there's always a surprise. There's always a surprise in the mix, and in this case, it's the Russell, the little caps. They didn't fall that much. In fact, they fell 0.19%. So that's not too shabby, really. That's not too shabby. So I almost expected the Russell to fall a lot more than everybody else. But the little guys they're still on that train saying, I think I can, and they're proving it. And I mentioned gold and silver. Look at this. Gold up 3.45%, silver up 4.63%. This is not supply and demand per se. This is not, industrial needs for these materials. This is pure people moving into the things where they go when the market's very uncertain. So a lot of people moving into gold, a lot of people moving into silver. And here's how we can tell it's not so much. So copper is down a little bit. And of course, there's that whole thing. And I heard this earlier. Copper, and Sue actually brought it to my attention again. But yeah, so NVIDIA had sort of a streamlined estimate of how much copper they needed for their their AI data centers, and they overestimated. So that has a lot of people thinking, okay, well, maybe we will see copper pull back a little bit. I hope that does happen because I want to get in at lower prices for sure, because I'm very bullish long-term on copper. That doesn't change that thesis at all. So that'll be interesting to see. All right, and that's copper. And of course, oil actually kind of flat, up a tiny bit, 0.20. So not too shabby. Bitcoin, Ethereum, look at this. They're both down. So crypto not having a good day. All right, guys. Oh, boy. If you're allergic to the color red, oh, boy. You might want to tune out for the next 10 minutes because we got the heat maps. We got the heat maps. Actually, I remember when I was a kid, there was actually a movie about this guy who got superpowers, but he loses his power whenever he saw the color red. I can't remember what it was called. Was it Super Fuzz or Super? It might have been Super Fuzz. I don't know. It was an interesting movie. All right. Anyway, not to go off on a tangent here. Pretty much red. Not across the board though, because we have our minerals. We have we got companies here like Barrick Gold is actually down 0.20%, but for the most part, look at this, like Kinross Gold down here up 3.79. Who is this? AGI up 2.83. So we got a few that are doing good. But yeah, right across the rest of the rest, not so much. Oh boy, look at the railroads today. CNR down 3.23%, CP down 3.60%, Bombardier down 2.34%, Constellation Software, oh gosh, not Constellation Software, 3.91%, oh boy. So yeah, definitely a lot of pain, but a lot of buying opportunities out there. So I did, in the pinned comment, I asked, what did you guys buy the dip? Let me know your best deal that you got today. If you bought the dip today, I want to know your best deal. All right, slipping, oh boy, going south of the border. Here we go. Not a lot to write home about here for sure. We have a lot of red. A lot. Tesla, 4.25%. Amazon's down. Oracle, 5.66. Nvidia's down 4%. Apple's down 4%. Google's down, 2.5%. Microsoft, a full percent down. Broadcom, 5.45% down. Now, here's the interesting thing. You see Google here? Down 2.56%. I made money on Google. Today. I will, you know what? Before we go to crypto, let me show you what I did. All right, so here's Google, and this is the beauty of it. So as you can see, we actually charted this yesterday. So Google was ripe in here, and I was like, all right, let's buy some Google. But I didn't buy it here because they dipped down here. They were down here this morning. So, and you can see they went down, and then you'll notice those greens. I wonder if I can make this bigger here. Let's try to make this a little bigger. All right. So here, oh yeah, this is what we want. So when they opened, they fell big time, and I jumped in right down here, and I rode it up. I rode Google up there. Now, I only made about, a little over $500, but then Google turned around and came right back down. So I got out at the right time. But why did I get out at the right time? For those of you who do like swing trading. Well, because once I got to about $500 in profits, I threw in a stop loss. I'm like, you know what? I'm seeing other things falling. I don't think Google can keep this momentum up. I got my stop loss in. I'm going to be locking in profits no matter what. And that's exactly what it did. Actually, while I was having lunch, Google fell, hit my stop loss. So locked in profits. There we go. Probably maybe the only profits on the day, other than if some of you were playing inverse. If you were playing inverse, you probably got profits. All right, heading over to crypto. That's not crypto. Those are ETFs. Look at this. We got a few different things in here. So interestingly enough here, so HOD, yeah, see, these are all natural resources, so that's kind of not the best area. I would love to have seen the one in here for the S&P 500. I'd love to see what that one did today. Maybe we'll take a look at that a little bit later. But here's where I was heading. I'm trying to get to the crypto. Very, very red day. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. I mean, everybody's down almost 5%. Roughly 5%. A Bitcoin maybe 3.8, but yeah. Now we have a tradition of picking an altcoin the opposite color of what Bitcoin's doing. So it's a green coin. Amazingly enough, we actually have some green coins. I'm going to take, you know what? This here seems to be the furthest one in. Let's just grab this one. What do we got here? We got Grinchy. Oh, Grinch. Grinchy, I guess. I see the little Grinch thing here. So this is a, maybe it's a Christmas themed coin. I'm not sure. But it might be just like the Grinch. And if you're an investor, you might be a who. So this feels weird doing this in January, but it's the luck of the draw. Boy. Yeah, so I don't do my investing in Whoville, so I don't want anything to do with the Grinch. So Grinchy, no way. And plus, it's not even, like, look at this. It's worth so little, they're using exponents. Exponents. E to the -6. Holy banana bread. So I don't know what this does. I don't know how this ties into Christmas, how this ties into Whoville. Is this tied into the Whoville dollar? I don't know. All I can say this is that I'm never going to own this. And I hope you guys will never own it either. But if you do want to own it, at least do your research. Read the white paper. Follow the developers. Find out what Grinchy is all about. Holy cow. It's like we needed this, guys. We needed a funny one today with a red market. And I will tell you guys, this is a luck of the draw. I had no clue what I was opening up. So I will tell you that 100%. Oh boy. Anyway, I do call these crap coins. They're like going to the casino. It's like playing craps. You're not going to win. The house always wins. So guys, if you want to make money on crypto, Grinchy is not the way to go. Stick to your big coins, your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your XRPs, your Cardano, and darshgone it, even the Dogecoin. And today you're probably looking at some good prices to get in. Well, hey, let's take a look. Where is Bitcoin at on this list here right now? So Bitcoin, yeah, back down to 89,000. So definitely could get some interesting things. Could get an interesting, and here's the thing. Once the fear on this goes away, so this is not fundamentals failing. This is pure fear. Once that fear goes away, we could be looking at a recovery. So we could be gaining all of it back. So that's one of the best things about a day like today, especially if you are buying the dip. So hopefully it only goes a couple of days, but we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. It could be interesting. All right. Let's get back to the main screen. Okay, and let's see here. A lot of chat in here. All right, Paul says earlier than normal. No, I don't. when I was selecting the time for the stream, setting it up today, I accidentally chose 3 o'clock. It was supposed to be 3:30, and quite literally, I saw Paul's message on my test box at about 1 minute to 3, or close to it, maybe 4 minutes to 3. And I'm like, what? Nope, not starting at 3. So yeah, I changed it. I fixed it right away. But yeah, that was a typo. That was a typo, I guess. Bismarck, he says, good afternoon, all. You would think this was Valentine's Day with all the red today. I know. Valentine's is coming pretty darn fast. Also, the Winter Olympics, guys. That's coming up in February as well. Samantha is in the house with a good afternoon, all. And we got Scott in the house with a good afternoon. Paul says, bought 4 shares of Tesla CDR and 4 shares of MSTE in the TFSA. The MSTE shows up 1.06%. No, now plus 0.85%. Okay, yeah, it's dynamic. As you were writing the message, it was dropping. Doorpat says, are we really okay? Yes, yes. Before I even read the rest of your message, yes, we're okay. We are okay. Well, and that's, the market's okay. Let me just say that. I don't know about the world. I really don't know about the world. You know, there's a lot going on with this current administration to the south of us, and it's not great. It's not great. So, you know, the next 3 years could be bumpy. They could be bumpy, but I think the market will be fine, which is kind of ironic, but, you know, and we may get lots of these little opportunities like this to buy the dip, make some money, lock in profits. I'm okay with that part of it, but obviously I don't want to see anything bad happen to Greenland. I don't want to see all kinds of turmoil. I don't want to see NATO fall apart. There's a lot of things I don't want to see. Scott says, no good news about Greenland and tariffs, so I can see more red coming. Yeah, so far there's, yeah, and in fact, Canada, you know, is considering, you know, we're considering putting some troops over there for the, for the Arctic training, I guess, or Arctic drills. So that could get us on that list of countries as well. All right. Bart says, what are your thoughts on 60? I love the dividend paid twice per month. Yeah, I do love 60. I think 60 is pretty good. Yeah, and I do think I think the banks are actually going to do quite well in this year, in 2026. So that could bode very well for 60. Obviously, they also have bank, and bank's a proven commodity. So that's the thing. 60 hasn't yet proven themselves, but I think they will this year. So I am a fan of 60 for sure. Zenial says, thanks to the chat for warning on the Sunday show. Okay. Oh, thanks to the chat for warning on the Sunday show. Freed up a bunch of cash yesterday. It always helps when the USA has a holiday and Canada doesn't on the day after the weekend. Yeah, that was the perfect thing. There was that opportunity to buy, you know, to sell some stuff to free up. I will tell you guys, well, actually, how many did I sell? I think I sold. I'm just going to take a quick look here. I sold more than half of my cash position. So my T-cash, I liquidated quite a bit of that today because I wanted to spend a little bit in the challenge. So yeah, the next 0 to 100K challenge is going to be, it's going to be stuffed full of buys for sure. All right. Zenial. And Tom says, stuck at 52.39 on Google. If it drops more tomorrow, I'll average down. Oh no, Tom. So Tom, I think, got in on the same trade that I did. Now, luckily, my stop loss got me out of that with a nice profit. I think you're going to be fine though, Tom. Like if I hadn't put in the stop loss, if I had fallen down with Google, I would be absolutely okay with it. So I think you will be okay. Samantha says, bought some VFV, but the deals I was specifically looking for weren't there. Well, I did open another, actually, in my trading account. I opened a little bit later in the day, guys. I opened an Air Canada trade. I basically, when things started falling earlier today, I looked at Air Canada and it was like 19 something. I just said, well, you know what? If it goes to 19, I'll open a trade. So I just put in a limit order for 19 and it hit it. So, actually it's a little lower than 19 now. So, I'm going to add some as well to the 0 to 100K challenge. So, it's going to have it in the challenge and I'll also have it as my as a regular swing trade as well. So I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Doorpat says allergic to color red. Do you think this downturn will continue? I think we'll see a little more falling in the morning. I'm hoping by tomorrow afternoon, though, things start to sort of calm down. We bottom out, we start to move back up. That's what I'm hoping for. And that's kind of been the pattern with a lot of these ones. Now, obviously, if if the whole situation with Greenland were to escalate tonight or something, overnight, that could certainly push us a little bit even further down a bit tomorrow. So, well, excuse me. So we'll definitely have to see. Whoops, let's see here. There we go. Where was I? Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, I was on this one. All right, now to Morley. Bought some MSTY for a swing trade in the trading account. Okay. And that'll probably do okay if we get a recovery in Bitcoin tomorrow. Zyborg, CSU's been going down in a burning ring of fire. Oh gosh, yeah, this is CSU. Oh, I'm afraid to look. And you know what, guys? Let's just take a quick look. I don't want to, but we're gonna. This is painful to look at. Down another 4.16%. Oh, look at this. Actually, I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse. But they're now sitting at 2674. Let's just go out to that 1 year. Actually, we'll go to the 3 years so you can sort of see. Boy, have they come down. They've fallen. Like, their price now is pretty much back at where it was in 2023. So, yeah, all of this has pretty much been erased. We'll have to see. Oh, gosh. Navigil says, bought CP today. All right, so there was your dip. There was your dip. And, oh, I see something. All right. We have a brand new channel member, John. John has joined. Welcome to the channel. And of course, that is a goatable, as I want to call it, a goatable offense. Basically, you have just released our Monopoly goat. So we got a Monopoly goat. The next goat's my favorite. But welcome to the channel membership. You'll now be able to see videos 1 day early. And in addition to that, you will also be able to see the swing trades I make, because I do send out I will call it daily. If I don't make a trade, I don't send one out, but usually you get a few of them a week. You will also be able to attend our channel member live stream. We have one of those every month, and I'm soon going to be adding office hours for the channel members as well. So a lot of exciting things for sure. All right. Let's see here. Where are we? We were right there. We were at Navi. We're at Navi talking about CP. All right, Marina is in the house, and all right, we're away for a couple of days for my husband's birthday. When I came back, I was amazed to find a gifted membership to this esteemed channel. I don't know who sent it, but I am very grateful. Yes, there was oh my gosh, who gifted that? Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to guess a name. Like, I got a couple names, but if I guess them and it's not that person, I'd feel bad. So, but yes, you were definitely gifted a channel membership over the weekend. Was it over the weekend or maybe on Friday? I almost feel like it was Friday. Claude says, bought some HBTE, QQCL, and VFE, but not too much in case it drops furthermore. Yeah, fair enough. Mary is in the house with a hello all. And guys, Mary is our official captain of the like button. So if you have not yet hit that like button, let's do it before the bell. So let's hit that like button. While you guys are busy doing that, I'm going to have some coffee. Oh boy. Oh, so good. So very good. Oh, we can go big screen. We should go big screen here while we're, unless we have something to show you, we should be big screen. Elaine says, hey all, red day, but not so down. Bought a little of my favorites that were mostly on sale. Nice. A 10-year yield broke out. Okay. And I almost have to go back to what you just said before. You were talking about CP. So a 10-year yield broke out. Okay, I'm not 100% sure what you mean, Navi. Tell me more. Tell me more. Paul says, will we get a V-shaped recovery like in April of 2025? I'm that's what I'm hoping for, Paul. I'm hoping. I can't guarantee it, of course. Nobody can. But if history repeats, that's kind of what we're looking at. We're probably looking at a V-shaped recovery. I would put it in the high 60 to 70% probability. Niece is in the house with a hey all. Hello, niece. Good to see you. How is it over there in Sweden? How are you guys taking all of this? Oh, and more importantly, just a second, before we get to Marina, here's my question. How the heck was the market over there today? Was it a bloodbath? Was it a red bloodbath? Sort of like what we've been seeing over here. Well, bloodbath is probably too strong. I don't think it was super bad. I mean, it's bad, but maybe not bloodbath bad. All right, Marina. What is the better option for topping up a TFSA? Transferring securities in kind from other accounts or selling them and contributing cash instead? Okay, so here, if you transfer in kind, so what that actually does is it still creates a taxable event. So let's say in your non-registered or in your RRSP, if you were trying to move, we'll just say, let's say you had Canoe. Let's say you had Canoe. We'll just use Canoe for the sake of having a name. So let's say you had Canoe sitting in your non-registered. Well, if you transferred in kind, so the Canoe from there into your TFSA, what actually happens is it still creates that taxable event. So it still counts as a sale and a purchase within your TFSA. So, honestly, it really doesn't matter if you do it. You're going to get taxed either way. The tax is going to be there from the selling of the of whatever the thing. So your Canoe or whatever it is that you have outside. In the RRSP, it will be 100% taxable event, obviously, because anything you pull out of the RRSP, 100% taxable. So if your bank offers some kind of transferring in kind service, they're still doing that. You're still getting hit. You're still getting the tax hit. You don't get around with it. So for that very reason, honestly, it doesn't matter. For me, I probably would sell it and then just move the cash over. That's how I would do it. And then once I have the cash over there, then I don't, I can sort of look at maybe if there's some good deals on, I can certainly buy some of my favorites. Or if the market's, if everything's at all-time highs and there really isn't any good deals, I could always put it into a cash ETF and sort of go from there. I got the 1-minute warning, guys, by the way, for the bell. So in 1 minute, we got a bell coming up and it's a little loud. So hide your cats if they're afraid of loud noise, because I know one of you has cats who don't like the bell. AGD, do you hedge your portfolios with puts? I do not. I do not trade options. AGD says, I guess today is a wrong day to buy HHIS. Well, if you like HHIS, there's deals. If you bought it later in the day, if you bought it first thing in the morning, then yeah, I would say that would have been a bad, I don't want to say a bad move, it just wouldn't have been your most optimized time. So I did add some HHIS to the challenge. Like I have it in the challenge. I did top it up a little bit today, but I did that later in the day. I let the price fall through the day before I grabbed it. And guys, it is time. The market, the bloodbath, the red is on hiatus for the moment. Oh, thankfully, things can't fall any further. Well, in the US they can fall in the after hours, but on the TSX, all is quiet. The falling has stopped. All right, Rob says, will gold collapse US and Canadian banks since gold is beating the fiat? I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah, I would say no. I would say no. Paul says my prices were 37.31 for Tesla CDR and MSTE was 468. Yeah, look at that. 468. Just the other day, we were all excited here because MSTE went above $5. Ah, boy. I hope it goes back above $5 for you, Paul, because that would be a good little swing for sure. Let's see. Markets are always efficient, and these dips will create a lot of wealthy people. Yeah, they will. Absolutely. I mean, that's why, buying the dip is not a bad thing. It's not an investment strategy though. It's more of an opportunistic opportunity. That's the way I like to look at it. All right. Newell is in the house. Hello, hello. How are you? You're hoping you're having a good day. Oh boy, Mary is pointing out that you guys aren't hitting them like buttons yet. Oh boy, what's going on? I'm going to refresh my test machine over here. See where we're at. My test machine said 3, so I had to refresh it. 26. Oh my God, guys. What's happened? Do you all have broken thumbs? Just hit the like button, guys. It's really good for the channel. It tells the algorithm that, hey, people are interacting with the channel. They're enjoying what they're watching. So please, please definitely do that. Scott says bank down today. If you want to get in, I can't see any good reason for bank to be down. Yeah, I mean, the banks were down a little bit too. So, but yeah, this is probably a good opportunity to get into a lot of different things. I love this question. Lance, this is a perfect question. What are your thoughts on C-Day versus Canny? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not answering your question, but so you're probably like saying, then why the heck is it a good question if you're not going to answer it? Because today I actually pulled the data for this question. I pulled this data. So the next video, there's a video that released today. Guys, check that one out. But the next video is I'm going to do a look-in on a lot of these newer funds. And I'm basically looking at 3 big sectors. So the overall Canadian market, so you're going to see C-Day and you're going to see Canny. They're both going to get their report cards. And there'll be another one in there as well, another Canadian one. I won't spoil that, but we're also going to do the US and we're going to do technology in this one. And if this video does really well, I might make a sequel and we'll look at some other sectors. But, well, whatever sectors we can, because obviously I have to go buy new ETFs. So basically, we'll have 3 ETFs for each section. So we already know in the Canadian one, we got C-Day, we got Canny, and we got one more in there as well. Most of these ETFs most of them are about a year or younger. I think there's one that's a little bit older, only because, I didn't have another younger one for it. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this one. So that's coming up. That one will be the one that comes out on Friday. Channel members will be able to see it Thursday. Tomorrow is scripting. So tomorrow I'll actually be scripting it. Today was mostly collecting all of the data, pulling the numbers together, doing all the math for it. So anyway, great question, Lance. And tune in. Let's see. Are you a channel member? No. Yes, you are. You are a channel member. So you will be able to see it Thursday afternoon. Yeah, and I'll give you my breakdown on all of it. I will say this: Canny, C-Day, and the other one that I put in there. If you guys guess what the other one is, I'll confirm it if you get it. I will say this: that trio did much better than the U.S. trio, and and the technology trio. So. Yeah, I'm liking. They're gonna have. I think all 3 of those of the ones in this category will have good marks. But which one will win? Will it be Canny? Will it be C-Day? Or will it be the other one? That you'll have to tune in. All right. Newell says, are you going to DCA your swing trade for Air Canada? So we'll know. This is a great question because of 2 ways. It's not as great as the Lance question, but I have 2 separate swing trades going on for Air Canada. So within the 0 to 100K challenge, we have we have a swing trade in there that for Air Canada. And that one just has a specific set of rules. So that one, yes, that one we DCA every month. As long as Air Canada falls below $19, we add some to it. And then that one we'll drop in a stop loss once it goes above 21, and then we'll see where it sells. That's in the challenge. Now, in my trading account, and that's a separate account. So this is, the challenge is, it's an investment account with one little swing trade that we do there just for fun. My trading account, that one is, well, that's for making money. YouTube doesn't pay me a lot, so I have no choice. I have to, I got to make swing trades to make ends meet. So that sort of pays for my life, per se. I'll put it that way. In that one, I have an Air Canada swing that just opened up. Basically, bought it at exactly $19 because I had a limit order in there. And that one, I don't know where I'm going to sell that one at. But my target, I'd love to get back to 20 with it, but it's not a long-term trade. Whereas the one in the 0 to 100K, that's a long-term one, and that's why we got the dollar cost average component to it as well. All right. Scott says Constellation software more like constipation software. Am I right? Oh boy. It's starting to feel that way. It's starting to feel that way. They are definitely suffering big time. All right. Oh, and guys, I'm just going to refresh this because I just pointed out that 26, and I just want to see. I want to see how good you guys did. I have a feeling. Ooh, 47. Look at that. You guys rock. Oh, that's fantastic. That's like another 21 of you jumped on it. Way to go, Mary. Mary sparked that. So, Newell. I bought CSU sub 3,000 and sold a few months before the crash came. Still on the sidelines to see if I should take a position, but currently working on MSTR. Okay, fair enough. I think there's probably, you see, that's the thing. Constellation software, they've got all the right ingredients to be successful. So, it bugs me. It bugs me that they're not getting there. But I think a part of it might be AI, and I don't want to say I'm concerned about AI, but I will say this: I was watching, I watched a few videos yesterday on AI, and there's this new coding thing that DeepMind dropped, and I can't remember the name of it, but a coder. A guy who does coding videos, he dropped a video, and I checked it out. I don't do coding, but I was like, all right. Well, I mean, I used to dabble with like HTML and JavaScript and a few things, and PHP, also ASP at one point, but not a coder. So he was just pointing out that this new software that DeepMind, or that Google via DeepMind dropped. He was saying that it's basically so good, it replaces about 3 or 4 different paid services that he uses, paid software subscriptions that he uses for his job flow. So I'm just like, wow, if this is getting to the point that a lot of these software companies that, they work on subscription models. So for example, well, for the channel, I've got 2 subscription models. I have the big one is Canva. So Canva, of course, that's where the whiteboard is. But that's where I make all my thumbnails. I make a lot of the images in Canva. The second one is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one of my things. Like one of the things that ChatGPT really helps me is I'll write up a script, and I'll throw parts of it to ChatGPT and say, okay, is there a better way to word this? Because I don't like how it's sounding. And ChatGPT is really good for sounding stuff off that way. I wouldn't let ChatGPT sort of spew out everything because, I don't think AI is quite there yet, but is great as an editor, and also has been really good with the thumbnails. What I mean by that is after I make a thumbnail, I'll upload it to ChatGPT and I say, critique this thing, tear it apart. And ChatGPT does. And sometimes ChatGPT is harsh. There was one thumbnail I actually uploaded to ChatGPT, and she was just like, she replied, or whatever. She replied, so do you want people to actually watch the video? I'm like, what? So yeah, she just came back and said, this is a terrible, terrible one. You need to go back to the drawing board. And I did, and she liked the second idea. The first idea, she just hated it. So what can I say? All right. Newell. Wahipple says, hey, I just jumped on to hit like. Work busy, gotta go. Well, thank you. Thank you for the drive-by liking. That's actually kind of funny. Lily says, almost pulled the trigger on Cameco, but I'll wait till tomorrow morning. Okay. Well, what did Cameco do today? Let's take a look. I don't think they would have fallen too much. CCO, let's take a look. Okay, they fell a little bit, 1.75%. All right, so yeah, they're a little bit of a move down, so not bad. All right, and John says, I bought the dip on MSTE and HBIX, hoping to swing trade, but both have good distributions if I hold for a bit. Yeah, and that's what I like. Like, a lot of people sort of look at, hey, where do you find the stocks that you're swing trading? And it's very simple. It's very simple. I will look at companies that I like their fundamentals, because if I do get stuck in a swing trade, I don't want to get stuck with a dud. That's why I'll never swing. I will never swing penny stocks. I like good fundamentals, so I know that even, I know I can ride it out. If I get stuck in a trade, I can ride it out. I'm going to be fine. I like that. I like that quite a bit. And, and I think, John, I think you got a good idea there as well. And Sue says, hi, Candace. You were correct yesterday. I asked you to do a channel on VZLD. You said that you thought it would go and touch the top of the channel, and that's exactly what it did today, I'm hoping. VZLD, do I still have it? Let's take a look. Because we charted it here. Here it is. Yeah, here's we go. I was saying it's going to come up, hit the channel, and look, it's already turning around. So hopefully, if you're holding it, hopefully you sold up here, Sue. Or I think you were ready. Were you ready to buy? I'm not sure. But yeah, now we should be looking at some movement to the downside on VZLA. That's, if it holds to the pattern. But keep in mind, that one thing that's going on right now, we'll call it a black swan, because it technically is a black swan event. That could alter things a little bit, but I think we should get a pullback on this. And in fact, if the black swan were to alter it in any way, if anything, it would be pushing it down opposed to pushing it up. Although it is silver, right? Which is an interesting thing. But let's see. Yeah, let's see if you can get a better position. Let's see if it comes down. Hopefully it does. All right. And and Sue says it pulls back, so I can't buy in. Perfect. Now, funny story, Sue. We'll mention this to Sue. So Sue messaged me yesterday. And before that, I was looking at her name, Sueh. And I was like, Sua. And I was always trying to say it like Sua because I was like, how do I pronounce that? Because I thought maybe, I actually thought it was a Middle Eastern name, to be honest. So I was trying to figure out, how do I say Sua? So that's what I've been doing. And then, of course, I find out that the H doesn't, the H is the beginning of Sue's last name. So I won't share that because, Sue may not want you to know her last name, but it's Sue H. So now I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. So it is neat. Sometimes, like, because I don't get to see you guys, right? I get to see your picture, but all I get to do is see your name. So I sometimes, it's kind of funny. It's like I have sort of visual ideas of what I kind of think you look like, but I have no clue. And this one shows how wrong I can be, for sure. Roku is in the house. Afternoon, just got back from Costco. Don't people work anymore? Was there nobody there, Roku? Is that kind of what... I mean, there's probably a lot of people that just can't afford to be out spending as that much. Scott says, speaking for myself, I do not. Oh, Scott. Well, hopefully you're making some money trading or something. Let's see. Elaine says the bell. Yes, we had the bell. Almost had it. Well, you see, now I got the double alarm. I got the 4 o'clock, or sorry, the 3:59, So I know I got the minute, and then I got the 4 o'clock. And so I was, and quite honestly, Paul, I was about to go on a tangent when the second alarm went. And so I quickly stopped it and rang the bell. So it works. I will never be late again. Of course, now that I've said that, I probably will find a way, guys. Let's see here. Martin says, sorry, okay. I think he was going to say more. All right. Well, I'm sure he'll pop up again. Paul says, in the TFSA, cannot really swing trade. I did wait to buy Tesla CDR today from last sell of Tesla CDR on December 18th. Funny what a month does. Yeah. So guys, don't swing trade in your TFSA. Now, the Air Canada swing trade that I have in my TFSA, and this is kind of funny. I'm saying don't swing trade in your TFSA, and then you might be like, but you've got a swing trade going, but it's a very long-term one. So do very long. If you're going to do a swing trade in your TFSA, it's fine if it's a long-term one. So like this swing trade right now in the TFSA, you know, I'm probably going to I'll probably be holding the Air Canada that's in there for, you know, who knows? Who knows? It's been in there for months now already. So any kind of swing trade I will do in my TFSA, it's a very long-term swing trade. It's like I might get in on something and say, okay, this should go up within about, you know, maybe 5 months. Bang, boom. Great swing trade. Doesn't annoy the CRA. So those ones I like. But if you're doing quick, shorter swing trades, not in your TFSA. You can do it in your RRSP if you want, but don't do it in your TFSA. Claude says, I wasn't there for the April 2025 dip. How many days in a row like this one was there, would you say? Let's go take a look. Let's go take a look at the April one. All right. Here we go. So we have to go back. Well, this is the wrong stock. We'll actually go with VFV. We'll go to VFV. Here we go. Perfect. And we'll go to the 1 year on the VFV. And all right, so here is the dip that we had in April. So as you can see, you know, it began at the beginning of April. And the recovery pretty much took the whole month, you know, by basically, because here we go, from about the beginning of April, most of, you know, we were kind of towards the end, but to actually get to where we were, you were looking at a month and about 12 days at that point. Now, that was a really deep one. I don't think we're going that deep. And this one also had the extra aggravation. I was going to say aggravation. The extra aggravation. So there was a lot of stuff going on there. So I think we're going to see something more close like this. So if you look at this one here, so April 4th, the bottom, until the 8th, so 4-day bottom. So I don't even think we're going to see that. I think quite literally we'll see some red tomorrow. I think we might even see a bit of recovery tomorrow afternoon or Thursday at the latest. I don't think this is going to be as big as this. You know, and already we have not fallen. Like, just take a look here. You can see the fall right here. So if this fall, you know, even if it goes a little further, it's nothing compared to the size and scope of that fall that happened in April. So we're fine. I think we're fine. All right. Marina said, one of my investment accounts is perfectly aligned with my target allocation. I've been paralyzed trying to decide what to invest in without upsetting that balance. Is there any rule of thumb for this? Well, here's the thing. First of all, when it comes to an account, if you've got an account that is perfectly aligned, you're happy with your diversification, and you know, at that point, there's no need to add new stocks. You know, if you've got more money that's coming into that account, you've got a couple of options. One, you can sprinkle it across, or DCA across what you already have. If everything is working fine, why mix it up? Because, you know, let's just say, for example, let's say you have your financial sector is perfectly balanced in there, and you're looking at something new like 60. You're thinking, oh, I think I want that. That's a 60 stock, a 60 ETF. You know, you could add it, and then you are a little more overbalanced. But in a case like that, you know, you can do rebalancing. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to say, like, you could, sell a little bit of the of your the financial sector in there and bring 60 or something, or a different, I was just using that as an example. Maybe it's eBank. You could bring that in instead. So that works. But yeah, there's no hard and fast rule. And sometimes it doesn't hurt to look at sectors perhaps that you haven't looked at. Like maybe you're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, maybe this is the year I add a 3% stake in crypto. And then you might look at a couple of ETFs to do that, or maybe a couple of stocks. Well, probably ETFs if it's crypto. But yeah, there's nothing to say that you can't expand on it. But at the same time, you don't have to. If you're very happy with what you have, if it's meeting your needs, I would probably DCA across what I have. And then, maybe down the road you won't be happy. But if you're happy now, then yeah, there's no need to upset balance. But but if you are going to upset the balance, sometimes the best way to do it is to look at a sector perhaps that you don't have. For example, a lot of people are very low on their materials. So when it comes to the material sector, when it comes to things like gold, silver, or even a simple ETF like XMA, a lot of people are light in that area. But now, because of the year that we've had, people are starting to look a little bit more, saying, oh my gosh, this is a sector I wish I had a lot more of to begin with. So there's always room to move in different directions. But you don't have to, and I always look at it this way. Here's the worst situation. So if you are, and this is where I say don't be paralyzed. So don't be paralyzed trying to decide. If you have a perfectly balanced portfolio and you do bring something else in, if it doesn't work, you can always sell it. You don't have, it's not like it's a lifetime commitment if you bring in another stock or another ETF or even another sector. If it doesn't work, and if you find that it's putting things a little out of balance, you could always trim it back off at a future rebalancing. So it's not, to me, it's not a big, I don't think it's something to let yourself get too paralyzed over. Martin says, sorry, on vacation, the like button was late. Okay, no worries, no worries. Hey, enjoy your vacation. Are you somewhere hot, Martin? Tell me that you're somewhere hot. It's cold here in Ottawa today. Let's see. Lance says, I'm currently leaning towards C-Day over Canny, but might get a bit of both for different sector tilts. Love the bi-monthly pays. Yes. That's the big advantage that they both have. And I will say, total return-wise, I can give you this information. I can give you this, even though this will be something in the video, but I can give you this, a little piece of information. Let me... Whoops, that's not what I was looking for. All right, let me pull this up here. So, let's see here. C-Day. All right, here's C-Day, and here is Canny. So I will say this. Between the two of them, whoops, I almost moved all my data in front of you guys. Between the two of them, C-Day has a better track record thus far. So I will say that when it comes just to pure data. Now I haven't analyzed it, but raw data, C-Day is doing better than Canny. So take that. Maybe that makes a difference. But like I said, Thursday afternoon, as a channel member, you'll get to see that video for sure. All right. Not this one. I was looking ahead. Paul says April 2025 was quite a few days. You could get Tesla for 225 or even 220. Yeah, exactly. Why GGGI? Yes, ECHI is the other Canadian newcomer, one that is in that video. Nice guess. Nice guess. I like it. Q-Day. Q-Day, well, that's a technology one. Yes, Q-Day is in there, Tom. But it's not in the Canadian section. It's going to get compared against tech ones. But no more, guys. I'm not going to tell you anymore. You got to wait for the video. Tesla seasonally is weak in the first quarter. True. That is true. They do. Q-Day has been pretty consistent. Perlovia. Sure, hope some of you got def.v at 25 cents when I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I did not. But let's take a look, guys. I am now really curious. Def.V, here we go. Defiance Silver. Oh, look at this, up 5% today. So yeah, now sitting at 41.50. So this, of course, and this is what I said a couple of weeks ago too. Like, you know, silver right now is on a tear. So if you were somebody who is interested in penny stocks, this is probably one that's going to do well. And yeah, they've done well. And they're probably going to continue to do well, probably. But you do have that added risk of being a penny stock. I just put that out there. Newell says CSU took quite the hit from AI and Mark Leonard stepping down as president. I think some people are thinking that AI is the death of SaaS. It could be. The thing is, here's the opportunity that they have, that CSU has, and maybe, you know, this is probably the worst time for Mark Leonard to have to be stepping down, but because you know he's kind of like the heart of the company. He's kind of like the reason the company got as big as it did. But here's the thing: what they have to do with their software is they've got to integrate AI into it, and maybe they're in the process of doing that. Maybe they've got a big comeback planned. But they need to be integrating AI into their software so that they can now offer their software AI assisted, you know, and make it, you know, that would make it even more compelling for their clientele. So, yeah, there's a lot that they need to do. If they don't do it right, AI could be a problem for some of these software companies, unfortunately, and I think it's going to continue to be that way. I think it's going to continue to be that way for a while. Why videos? My South Korean telecom SKM stock saved the day with a 10.5%. Holy banana bread. That's pretty good. All right, and guys, we got a super chat in there. Marina is in with a $10 super chat. For all the free value you share, thank you. Oh, well, you're welcome. And thank you, of course, for the super chat. And we get to see the goat that I like the most right now. So you guys know I like space. So here's our moon goat. Oh, we got our moon goat. The goat squad is filling up. And oh boy, I don't think I've seen Samantha here yet, but I got something to show if Samantha shows up, I want to show her something. Right, now, where are we at here? Right here. Brian says, a good afternoon, everyone. Just getting home. Well, hope you had a good day at work, Brian. Scott says SaaS should integrate with AI to improve exactly what I was saying, for sure. Marina says, am I weird if I prefer monthly paying ETFs over semi-monthly ones? Monthly payments are easier for my portfolio tracking. Yeah. There's no problem with that too. And depending on your investing style, if you are a growth income investor, so that's that hybrid version, the monthly paying ETFs tend to be the ones that are going to give you a bit more growth too. So that's not a bad thing at all. And that's the thing I always say. There's a lot of different income styles. There's a lot of different investing styles across the board. And the one that's right is the one that works best for you, right? To me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But no, I don't think you're weird at all. Danielle says, what a day. I just didn't know what to buy, so I picked up some CNR. Okay, nice. And XEI. I hope I made the right choice. Well, CNR was down a good amount today for sure. CNR, it's going to be fine on the long term. Like I do like CNR. I hold them in the challenge. So the only thing that stopped me from picking up any CNR today is that I just have a lot of it already in the challenge. I got, I don't want to over diversify into it. But yeah, today, definitely a good day. And most of the choices, and this is literally the best thing. On a day like today when almost everything is down, it's hard to not pick a winner when you're buying the dip. It's hard to. Why video says I bought some XRP, Ethereum, Berkshire Hathaway on the dip. Nice. There we go. An XRP, yeah. I like XRP. All right, Lance says, new self-directed investor and new channel member, former lurker, put 8,000 into silver junior miners in my FHSA, hoping it can hit the 40K limit by the end of the year. Okay, you're hoping, like, are you hoping the 8,000 is going to turn into 40K, or all of your investments within the FHSA? Because that might be a bit of a stretch, trying to get 8,000 into 40K. It's possible, but it might still be a bit of a stretch. Let's see. Brian says, I find twice monthly gives you a chance to buy earlier and help dollar cost averaging. You can miss some mid-month dips, or easy to track basically is your choice. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons some people like the semi-monthly is that it feels like a job, right? It feels like you're getting paid twice a week. Now, and this is what I say, like, you can do that too with regular monthly ones. Just pick, have a good batch that pays in the first half of the month and a good batch that pays in the second half of the month. So you can work it out. I had a video. I'm trying to remember. It might have actually, was it a channel member video? It might have been a channel member. I don't know. But I know I did a video a long time ago where I tried to find a way to get weekly dividends by picking different ETFs and stocks that had good dividends. And anyway, oh gosh, that was a long time ago. It was also a lot of work. It was a lot of work trying to put that list together back then. Let's see. Roku says Costco, quite the opposite, packed as usual. Oh, okay, very well. I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever been to Costco without it being busy, to be honest. Scott says, I certainly wasn't making any money today. Let's see. Jonathan says, does anyone else want to sell me their CSU? Maybe. Satoshi says, let's see. BTC prepares for major upgrade. All right. Satoshi, I hope you're not trying to scam people, but I'm kind of getting that. I hope. No, there's no link here. All right. At first I thought it was a giant leak, but then I realized it was just, it's just StreamYard. It breaks down, like if you do emojis, it breaks it down. So, all right, no, you're not trying. Okay, never mind. Satoshi. Let's go here. Noel says, time to get some space stocks with that moon goat. You gotta like some space stocks. Oh, Samantha says, I'm here. Goat Squad merch update. All right, I got something to show you, Samantha. Give me a second. Let me pull this up. Where is it? Oh, I have to go. I have to go to the right one here. Let's see here. Now, give me a second. Where is? Oh my gosh. I do have it here. Oh, I'm looking for it, and I realized I accidentally had. All right, here we go. All right, Samantha, I made one draft already. And here, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to show it to you. Tell me what you think. Now, I showed it to Jill, and she said, well, it might be too cute. Maybe it needs to be less cute. So I don't know. But all right, let me pull this over. All right. So this was one idea. This was the first idea. Like I said, I'm working on it. So you let me know if you like it, if you think it needs to be less cute. We can go with less cute, but this is our first idea. So we got the goat sort of, eating the tea, hence the reason there's a little bit of a part of the tea missing. So let me know, Samantha. I wanted to show that to you because, because it's still a work in progress, but I am working on it. Claude says, yesterday's Gary Gill interview with Brian Sutton was his best so far, in my opinion. Very interesting. I have not seen that one yet. I'm going to have to check that one out. Yeah, I definitely. He's been getting some really good interviews in there. So yeah, gotta love it. Marina, love the space goat. I know, that's my favorite as well. So space goats, goats in space. Love it. All right, Lance says 8,000 to 4,000 is a stretch. I picked a few silver juniors that I'm hoping will re-rate and get me close to that 40K limit, making progress, but will a ways to go. Yeah. Well, hey, but still a ways to go. There we go. Hopefully it works well. Like, this is one of these ones where do your best. If you don't get to the 40,000, fine. The reality is sometimes you got to aim for the moon, but you may come short, but you still get it in the atmosphere, and that's not too shabby. All right. Martin says the 40K FHSA is the contribution limit, not a maximum for the account. Well, that's correct. So if, like for example, if you've put 8,000 in there and you grow it within that account, you still can contribute more to it. So that's the contribution limit. So even if you contributed 40,000 and you grew the whole thing to 100,000, that's perfectly fine. Wouldn't goat herd make more sense? I don't know. I like the word squad though. I kind of like the word squad. But I mean, if enough of you say we want herd instead of squad, then you'll definitely be heard. So let's just. Oh, that was bad. That was really, really bad. All right. Now, Brian says, I believe the 40K limit is funding, not growth. You could get to 1 million growth, but in 15 years, yeah. Well, is it a 15-year limit? I don't know what the limit is on the length of time that you have on the on the home savings account. It might be, yeah, I think it's around 15. Lance says 40K, I believe, is the most you can withdraw tax-free. Let me look into that though. Let me look into that. I'm just wondering what is going on with that. And the reason I ask that is, the reason I sort of think that is, I think depending on what you're doing with it. I think as long as you're buying a house, I want to look into that. I really haven't looked a lot at the FHSA, to be honest. So, but yeah, when you do close it, yeah, you can just move it all to your RRSP if you don't buy a house. So that's not too shabby. Let's see. I must close the FSHA the year after I make the withdrawal for qualifying home purchases. I believe it'll grow. I'll grow it more than 40K. I'll transfer to the RRSP. Yeah, and then you don't even need to worry about the taxes at that point. All right. Sky says Goat Squad artwork looks great. Samantha says, yes, that is pretty cute. All right. They should have a SHSA. What is, okay, SSSH. So a second time home buyers savings account? I mean, because my understanding is if you've sold your primary residence after a certain amount of time, you can then requalify for the FHA. You can still qualify for the FHSA if you've never used it before. But well, let's see. Newell says you don't have to buy a house. No, at the end of the time, you can just have it all just dump over into your RRSP. So no, you don't have to buy a house. Brian, for a first home savings account withdrawal, there's no limit on the amount you can withdraw tax-free. If it's a qualifying home purchase. And that's the part I thought. That's the part I was thinking, Brian. I was thinking that as long as it's a qualifying home. So if you're buying your first time home, by their definition of first time home, yeah, you could, if you grew it up to 200,000 and you bought $1 million home and it all went towards that $1 million, it should be tax free. Scott, is a broker called that because that's what they make you? Well, it used to be that they were the ones who would broker the deal per se. I think that's where the word came from, because it used to be people that would actually, back in the olden days, like we're talking really old, like back in horse and carriage, early industrialization, like they would actually transport the stock certificates back and forth and all of that. And they would do, they would meet at locations which were basically exchanges. And that's where a lot of it would happen. Brian, if you don't buy a house, you are taxed on the money. Yeah, I believe so. Let's see, does it have to be dumped? But if you dump it into your RRSP, you're not taxed on the money. Well, you are when you pull it out of the RRSP, but you're not taxed at the moment for sure. And to be clear on this here, the money that you contribute, that's already been taxed. So that does not get taxed if you don't buy the house because you've already paid your taxes on it. So you won't get double taxation, but all the money that you make would get taxed. Just it wouldn't get taxed if you put it on a house. New wealth, does it have to be dumped into the RRSP? What if you already maxed out your RRSP? It actually is brand new contribution room. So even if your RRSP is maxed out, it can still get dumped in there and it just creates new room. So it doesn't, it doesn't penalize you. So let's say, for example, you had a $1 million RRSP and it's maxed $1 million. And let's say you managed to grow your first home savings account to $100,000, but decided not to get a house. Well, then it gets dumped into your RRSP. You've now got $1.1 million, but that is your new max level. So it just expands your space. It expands your space. That's one of the things that makes, even if you're not planning to ever buy a house and you are in a situation where you're trying to find extra space to put stuff, I mean, you could do it that way. Some people do. All right. Let's see here. Lance says, so if I grow it beyond 40K, I can withdraw the full balance tax-free if it's for a qualifying first home purchase. Yes, if you're buying a house, it's tax-free. So, you can build it. I mean, and today it doesn't, 40,000. I mean, that's barely a down payment on a house, to be honest. Depending on where you live, I guess. Let's see, transferring to RRSP doesn't use contribution room. It does not. It does not. It does. It adds new room. It's new room. It's a separate room. So you're good. You're good. Sky, if an RRSP account needs to be transferred in cash, not kind, from a bank over to Wealthsimple, does it trigger a tax event? That's a great question. So yes and no. It kind of cancels each other out, right? Because in reality, well, wait a minute. No. All right, let's put it this way. So the way they would do it, there shouldn't be any kind of a tax event in this situation. So if you can't transfer in kind, so let's say, for example, you've got mutual funds from an old bank back when you thought mutual funds were the thing, that you can't just transfer because let's say they're specific to that bank who's holding your RRSP, and Wealthsimple doesn't have access to them. Well, what they would do is they would sell those mutual funds in your RRSP, so it's never coming out. Then they'll transfer the cash in kind. So that cash will get moved over. There's no tax involved at all in that case, at all. All right, no, and I was thinking of something completely different initially, but yeah, in this case, you're perfectly fine. That cash will just move over. You can buy new stuff in your RRSP because nothing ever leaves your RRSP in that situation. Because if it did, if it was a situation where they had to pull the cash out of there, it would then be taxable, and then put it back in. You would then technically, and this is where it would cancel each other out anyway. It would then be deferred, right? Going back into your RRSP. So those would cancel each other out if they did it that way. That's one of the reasons why they can just do it in kind, why they can just move it bang right across. Why create all that extra paperwork, right? Let's see. Oh, very interesting. Brian, you get a tax deduction on the FSHA just like your RRSP contribution. Yeah, exactly. And that's because, if it ends up going to the RRSP, it basically was like you just got a bonus RRSP in that sense. Well, I think as long as you're transferring from RRSP to RRSP, there's no taxing, only if you decide to transfer from RRSP to anything else, i.e. non-registered. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, going from RRSP to RRSP, it's fine. If you're going from RRSP to like TFSA, that's all taxable. That's all. That's a mess. That's a mess for sure. Scott, you'll be able to do a transfer within a registered account, be it RRSP or TFSA, etc. Exactly. All right, Claude, I just dropped another video idea in the community post. Sorry, too many ideas. No worries, no worries. I will check out your idea for sure. And Scott said my fingers are misbehaved. Oh boy, I don't know what that's about, Scott, but Scott's fingers be good. Oh, I can get rid of the goat. I just wanted to show that to Samantha. Get her feet back. And she says it's cute. I don't know. Maybe what I'll do is I'll make a cute one for people who like cute. I like cute. And Maybe I'll make one a little bit more less cute. Maybe we'll do 2 different versions. That might work. That might work. I'm just, I'm thinking. I'm always thinking. All right. The typos. Oh, yeah. Typos. Typos are fun. All right, guys, we're almost at the end. We got another, maybe 14 minutes or so. But if you got those last minute questions, get them on in. Get them on in. We can always go longer if you guys are asking the questions. Any thoughts on RKLB and ASTS? All right, let's take a look. RKLB. We'll go there first. So Rocket Lab, space, the final frontier. So this here is Rocket Lab. Like the name sounds, they provide launch services, spacecraft payloads, satellite components, all of that fun stuff for, commercial governments, all of that, pretty good stuff. So they had quite the drop today, 7.41%. Now, I do like space, I think, is very important. Now, the only thing I would be worried about with Rocket Lab is just that they are in a sector where companies like SpaceX can come along and start kind of, can kind of start eating up some of their business, sort of like what happened to MDA Space. So that is always a concern. But I think there's room. There's a lot of space up there. So I think there's room for everybody in space. So I would say, yeah, I think Rocket Lab is fine. I think Rocket Lab is fine. ASTS. All right, let's pull up ASTS. Here we go. So this, once again, another space company. This here is AST Space Mobile. This one here I had not heard of. So, I've heard of Rocket Labs, of course. But let's see, this one here. They're building the first and only global cellular broadband network in space. Holy banana bread. You'll be able to, if you guys go to space, after this company's through, you'll be able to watch the market close in space. So I approve of that. I certainly approve of that. Now they're down a little bit today. Not as bad as Rocket, though. Negative 2.876. But once again, today I don't care. I mean, everybody's down a little bit. Let me take a look at their back end. I'm kind of curious on this one here. We don't really have any information here, so I don't know why, but it's a U.S. account. It might be part of it. But yeah, I like the idea of what Space Mobile is doing, kind of like what their name says. So yeah, I'm okay with both of these. I think space is going to be, especially if we do start looking at putting data centers in space. And I've heard talks about it. I know initially I was a little concerned about the heating issue with the sun. But there are ways to do it, and if they've got the proper shielding in place, it could actually be interesting. It could be very interesting to see how they're going to do it. Dark side of the Force goat. Oh, Sith goat. The only problem with that is to make a dark side goat, it kind of starts getting a little satanic, guys. It really does. I love my Sith as much as the next person, but I don't want to be selling something on my channel that that looks like it's worshiping Satan. Just saying, a Jedi goat. And I'm a Star Wars geek. But also the other thing too is also keep in mind copyright. If I start making money off of a Jedi goat, I could see Lucasfilm coming along or Disney coming along and saying, hey, no, you don't. That's our money. I could see that. Let's see, Candace, did you get into an ETF that is into the silver sector? Yes, in a way. I did in the challenge. I actually added today XMA. So not today. It was just earlier in the week. I added XMA. So I just added so much stuff today that I'm kind of like, what? But yeah, so XMA, they're of course, materials, the materials one. So they do have silver. They've got gold. London Gold as well does have silver. I don't have a specific silver but I'm still looking. And I kind of wish silver would give me a little bit of an entry point. Right now it's not, but it's on my radar for when I get a good entry point. A goth goat. There we go. Once again, probably looking a little bit, a little bit evil. Although Claude seems to like a goth goat. A glam rock goat. There we go. Just paint the kiss, paint the kiss stuff on the goat. Oh my gosh. With gold coins on the ground. You guys have such great imaginations. I love it. I love it because I mean, heck, you guys know I wrote a horror novel, so I appreciate darkness. I do absolutely. Lance says, going back to AI and Chat GPT, I thought the most you could withdraw tax-free from an FHA was because of Chat GPT. Boy, am I glad I joined your channel. All right, I'm just, I'm just, okay. Oh, Chat GPT, yeah. You got to be careful. Like, Chat GPT, I always say double check. Like, here's the best thing. If you're asking ChatGPT for something, especially if it's something financial, ask ChatGPT to provide sources as well, because then you can go and you can actually check the sources where it's pulling the information from, and that will, a lot of times, that will sort of help you catch some of the stuff like hallucinations, things like that. It's getting better. It's getting a lot better. It's not there yet, but it is getting, even in the last year, like the amount of hallucinations I would see in ChatGPT a year ago compared to today, probably 1,000% more than what I'm seeing today. So for the most part, it's doing pretty good. But I find in financial stuff, there's a bit more of a nuance there, and I think ChatGPT doesn't fully get it. But next year at this time, ChatGPT might be better than than everybody else when it comes to the finances, for sure. So, all right, let's see here. Sue says, I bought Rocket Lab when it was $7. I did a few swings on it until it hit 59. Nice move. That's a good one. Newell, I totally forgot about MDA. Might have to wait for it to drop before drop dollars into that. And yeah, you know what? Let's take a look. I don't know if MDA dropped today. I have no clue what MDA did today. They did not drop. They were up on the day, 1.985%. So yeah, still on the climb. So not too shabby. All right. Let's see. All right. Brian says, I have proven so many people wrong because they believe ChatGPT can't be wrong. Who am I to doubt? Who am I to doubt it? There we go. All right. And let's see here. Newell, would you suggest MDA over Rocket Lab, or wait for SpaceX to IPO? A great question. I kind of like all three of them, to be honest. I do like MDA. So I think MDA has more room to grow than Rocket Lab right now. Not to say Rocket Lab isn't going to grow, but I think MDA space is and I did MDA space is one of the ones that I did pick in my stocks to watch this year. So I'll stick to MDA for now, but I'm very interested in SpaceX when they IPO for sure. All right. And very quickly, we got a super member chat in from Paul saying, have no questions right now. This is another thing. If you are a channel member, you get this free member chat once a month. It gives you, it's basically the same as a super. But those are like, they take priority. I'll jump over people to get to a super. So I'll do the same thing for one of the member chats. So guys, if you're a channel member, and it's busy, and you're like, oh my God, Candace will never get to my question. It's so busy. Use your super member chat thing for sure. It doesn't count in like our our contests and stuff and our our Financial Express and all that, but it does get you priority because heck, you're channel members. You guys use these. Take advantage of them for sure. All right, now where the heck were we? We were right here. Marina, a friend just transferred her RRSP mutual funds from a bank to a brokerage, Any tips on a selling strategy? All at once or one by one? They're all deeply in the red right now. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a tough situation. So if they are all deep in the red, there's a couple of options. So, and I don't know what they are. That's the thing. One option that I would look at is there something that provides the same thing that's actually moving up? Because maybe making a sideways move is not a bad idea. So you do realize the loss, unfortunately, but you're at least, instead of just sitting on a bag that may be sitting there for a while, you're moving it into something that is moving up. And obviously, if you got days like today where things are going down, it might be, these are the type of days that sometimes it makes sense to be doing that type of a strategy, just to move across into something that is moving up. And, I would, my big thing is looking at, if you're looking at that, if you pull up that stock long term and you're seeing that it has all of its highs are going lower and it's still in a downtrend, if I'm not happy with the fundamentals, and once again, it's hard for me to say this because I don't know what the stocks or what the stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, I honestly don't know what they are. But I would sort of look, and I'm the type, I don't mind selling in the reds. There are people out there that say, I will never sell in the red. And I'm like, okay, well then you're going to sit on some red sometime. I have no problem selling in the red, none at all. But I always have a plan. So as long as she has a plan, like if taking a loss now means she's going to be starting to finally move in the right direction tomorrow, it's not a bad idea. So, and does she have to do it all at once? Not really. She can do it as much as she's comfortable with, because sometimes, the psychology of it all. So if you think about the whole psychology, when you're realizing those losses, it doesn't feel good. In a way, it can actually invoke a little bit of that flight or fight response in people as well. So you can get a little bit almost aggressive about it. Even if it's not in an aggressive way, it might just be in a stress way. So that tends to be nowadays, like when we get into flight and fight, it's usually we just get stressed. That's usually what it manifests as in today's society. So there is that. If she is a person who this is really anxiety inducing, just the thought of doing it, then she probably wants to do it at a smaller amount. Just do it at the pace that she's comfortable with, because or or after I said that, if she's that type of person that is like, I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. Well, there's that too. So yeah, I think psychology will definitely play a role in how the best way is to do it with her, for sure. All right, any thoughts on SVM Silver Corp Metals? Let's pull up SVM. SVM, here we go. Silver Corp Metals. Perfect. All right, now they're let's pull up their year. They've been having a good time. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. They've been having a really good time. So look at this. Just a year ago, they were sitting down around $4. So silver, of course, has been doing absolutely explosive growth. I think that's going to continue as long as we have this uncertainty in the world. That's going to continue. After the uncertainty's gone, though, and this is the beautiful thing. Once again, group 11 elements on the periodic table. So we're looking silver. Well, let's start at the top. Copper, silver, gold. They're going to be huge when it comes to electronics. They're just kind of the core when it comes to basically moving electricity around on circuit boards, solar panels, EV batteries, any kind of chips. So they are going to be huge. So there's always going to be that thing. So even when we do get to the other side of this, will we get a retracement in some of these? Yeah, we will, but it'll retrace somewhat. Not all the way. Probably not even a lot. And the demand for gold, silver, copper big time, that's going to keep them up, and that's going to push them back up. They'll get whatever retracement or correction on the other side we get. It'll build that right back up. So, especially for long-term investing, I wouldn't even be worried. So like I mentioned, even with my long-term copper thing, if we end up in a situation where we do get a little bit of a pullback on copper because of, Nvidia and their overestimation on how much copper they're going to need, well, that's fine. That just creates that creates a little bit of an investor pullback, and it gives us better entry points because copper is going to be huge for sure. All right. Scott says the bank will have use the closing price on the day that you sell the mutual funds. All right, let's see. I'm glad to be wrong in this scenario. Sue says, for a day like today, I use the VIX over 20 fear NQ1 in the red market going down. VZZ gold volatility, money moving to gold worked perfectly today. Yeah, the VIX. The VIX is kind of the greed and fear indicator. So I do like the VIX. I like the VIX for sure. Paul is in with a super sticker, $1. And guys, that does release another goat. It doesn't release a goat, sorry, but it releases one of our normal goats. So here we go. Thank you very much, Paul. All right. I love it. I love it. All right, now let's get back here. So close to secret goat. Well, so as you guys know, we're retiring the old goats. So we have the 4 old ones. So we've got the Monopoly goat now. That's a new one. The Space goat. And the next goat is ready to go once it's unlocked. And so far, I said it's going to take a super effort to unlock the goat. So there's going to be more clues. It's not a simple method. It's there's a couple of things that have to happen, but we'll figure it out as we go along, guys. I don't really think you're going to get it today. I think there's clues that need to come that will help you piece it together. I don't think you guys have enough information. If somebody actually pulled it off today, I would be like, I would be so shocked I would probably eat my shirt. I mean, that's how shocked I would be. I'm not going to eat my shirt in case one of you guys happens to somehow figure it out, but I would be that shocked. All right, Noel says, I started selling my reds and letting my greens run. So far, I'm not too negative. Yeah, exactly. So in this case here, it's moving red to green. It's, sometimes things don't work. And if you actually look at a lot of what Warren Buffett's done over the years, he's picked a lot of losers. And he gets rid of them. He doesn't just leave them. He doesn't let them stick around and fester in his portfolio. He gets rid of them. So, there is nothing wrong with getting rid of the losers and moving things over to stocks that are going to do well. But I always, and here's a caveat, I want to throw this in here too. Don't do this in a bear market. If we're in a bear market and everything is falling except for a few stocks in your portfolio, don't sell everything and just buy those stocks. You have to sort of look at things relative to what the market's doing. So when the market's red and your holdings are red, well, your holdings are just following the market. That's not a bad thing. It's usually the ones I get worried about is when the market's red or green and everything's going up, but I got that 1 or 2 that just aren't. And also, I also will look at the sector. So just with that example, we've been in a bull market, but oil has been struggling over the last year. So I expect oil stocks to struggle. And I'm okay with that, just knowing what sector they're in, what that sector is doing. Now, if the market was in a bull market and oil was soaring and I had an oil stock that was just absolutely tanking, I would probably get rid of it, to be honest. Sue says, I have those 3 tickers at the top of my list. I knew the market was going down. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of thought that. Let me see here. Paul says, I loved Computershare that handled the TELUS employee share plan. They use the day before close if you submitted by the close of today. So you would look for dip the day before. That's still a gain. All right, there we go. Claudia says, the cute goat squad draft will be perfect for a mug, Candace. Is that like a hint? Hint, hint. I need a coffee mug with a cute goat on it. Yeah, once we get these narrowed down, like if I got 2 of them, so if I get, a cute one for the people who like cute and a non-cute one for people who perhaps. I'm seeing a few of you guys who want Sith and, demon goats and all of this stuff. We'll have one for you guys as well. And oh boy. For plan to TFSA, a coffee drinking goat. Oh boy. Ooh, look at this. We got ourselves a new channel member. Guys, that is that's our fourth goat of the day. And this is another one that will get retired as well. So we are now through our normal goats. We do have our bonus goat. We change the bonus goat every so often. It is still the skating, the ice dancing goat. But I know that people want an Olympic goat, or an Olympic goat, a Valentine's Day goat. So that's probably going to be one that'll be coming in sooner than later, because Valentine's Day, not that far away. Not that far away for sure. So what can I say? All right. Let's get back here. Haha, this is the best one. There we go. A coffee drinking goat. I can get behind a coffee drinking goat, guys. I do like coffee. I do like coffee. All right. And I know I'm getting my watch is buzzing because I'm getting messages. Left, right, and center. What can I say? But guys, holy banana bread. Whew, this has been another great show. So we are going to be back again, by the way, tomorrow. We got another market close tomorrow. Tomorrow we will open up the Financial Express to see if you guys want to add a Thursday show. So, or you know what, guys? You know what? I'm just taking a look here. We've got you guys easily qualified a Thursday show today. You really did. You know what? Thursday show confirmed. Thursday show in the books. Simple as that. You guys won't have to do anything tomorrow because you guys didn't have to do anything today. But yeah, we'll do that. We'll do the Thursday show. Let's just say confirmed, bang, in the books. Michael says, thank you for your stream today. Well, thank you for popping in, Michael, and everybody else. Thank you for the supers. Thank you for the gifted member. No, was there a gifted membership? No, I think people were buying memberships for themselves. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. It's like I'm buying myself a gift. Nothing wrong with that, for sure. Sky says, thanks, Candace. All right. Well, guys, we will be back again tomorrow. If you haven't caught today's video yet, it's out, it's available, it's ready for you. And yeah, tomorrow we will see what the market's going to bring. Maybe it'll be more buy the dip. We'll find out. We'll talk all about it tomorrow afternoon. Until then, guys, I only have one more thing I want to say to you guys, and that is, well, bye.